Zambia Blog Talk Radio.
Do you want to promote your business on Zambia Blog Talk Radio? Yes, that's right. Live on Zambia Blog Talk Radio. To boost your spot, just make a donation by picking from the following categories. To get started, just call or WhatsApp the number on the screen and you'll be good to go. Live on Zambia Blog Talk Radio every Saturday for 1 full month. And it will stay on the recorded shows.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Saturday, February the 19th. Time is really flying, and we're so glad that you're able to join us from wherever you're watching. It's Zambia Blog Talk Radio. I am broadcasting to you from Dallas, Texas, and my co-host here, Kasuluba. Hi, how's Lusaka today?
Kasuluba is frozen on us.
In Canada, how's the weather there? Minus as always?
Yes, -5 right now, but I can see 24 degrees and light rain in Lusaka.
Light rain in Lusaka. All right, yes. That's good. Good evening. Where the Western Pacific in Australia and those parts of the world, they are getting ready to go to bed, but we do appreciate them joining us all the time. Good afternoon, Europe, and good afternoon, Zambia. Our show today, the Africa Cup of Nations just ended last weekend, and we thought that we'll do a reflection. Can you believe, Roger? It's 10 years since Zambia won.
I know.
The Africa Cup of Nations.
We went the other way around instead of
10 years, just like that.
Yeah.
So we decided to sort of reflect on this and see what has happened in the 10 years. Why the drought 10 years? Where are we as a nation in the past 10 years? So we decided to bring people that can help us reflect, analyze, and sort of have a conversation on this subject and see what is happening there. So firstly, joining us from Lusaka, Zambia, is Miss Maria Banda. She is a soccer commentator and analyst. Hello, Maria. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Thank you. Good. Thank you for joining us. We're so excited to have you with us. And also another upcoming young man, brilliant, who's also thrown himself into the into the thick of things to talk about soccer and stuff like that. Kasanda Mwape. Hi, Cassie.
Hello. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. Excited to sort of shake things up and get some new blood into this discussion. Hopefully, we can make a difference.
All right. That's good. And also joining us is one of the players that participated in this game. Okay, it looks like he's having. We suppose Norman Chavuta. He plays in Thailand. He's supposed to join us from there and show and sort of give us that thrust of what really it was like and what was happening behind the scenes, how they prepare to get to the point where they go to. However, we shall connect them, and Kasulu, of course, my co-host, who put this whole thing together. Maria, let me start with you. How did you get into this soccer commentary,
Wow.
How did it start? Tell us about that.
First of all, I think I would like to wish our 4th Republican president, Rupio Bozanibanda, happy 85th birthday. We love you so much. We pray that God blesses you with more life. I come from a family where I remember, I think when I was 10, 12, yes, my mom, my father were very passionate about soccer.
Oh,
And the
wow. Mom
description I
too?
can give you, yes, my mother as well. I can remember vividly where we're listening to Dennis Lee on the radio, and we're
Mm.
watching picture on TV.
Yes.
And I think from there, I picked the interest.
Okay.
And then I became a journalist. I always wanted to be one. I tried to do law, but I think it pushed me back to journalism.
Mm.
And that's how I started. I think early by 2002, I had started writing.
Mm-hmm.
And then by 2004, I started doing the commentaries. It was very rough then because very few women.
Which station were you doing the commentaries for?
ZMBC. So it's like running soccer commentaries. The national team is
Mm-hmm.
playing, and then I'm doing the commentaries at the same time.
Okay.
I've done TV as well, analysis. I've traveled a lot with the national team. Then I used to travel a lot with them. But then I think one difficulty then, which I see has lightened up now for a woman following football, is that
Mm.
when you walked in the stadium, there was a lot of insult, there was a lot of vulgarity in the stadium.
Mm.
And also from my background, we come from a very conservative background. It gave me a lot of questions. I started asking myself, is this what I want to do?
Mm.
Is this the environment that I want to do? But again,
Right.
I've come from where my father tells us, follow your passion. If that's what you want to do, do it. That's how I ended up doing. So I think this is how I've reached where I am. I moved out of the media, started working elsewhere, but I still do soccer. So I still do a TV show on ZNBC.
Okay.
And whenever I'm asked on to do analysis, I do.
Mm. Excellent. Well, thank you for giving us that.
Very fun story.
Now to Cassandra, who we popularly call in the family Cassie. Cassie, I didn't know you were so passionate about soccer to get to this point.
To this extent.
To this extent, yeah, where you jump into the deep waters. Off the bench.
Right.
How did that start? What's that? People don't know off the bench.
All right. So Off the Bench is one of possibly many pilot sports projects that's right now airing on Spring TV. Spring TV is quickly growing as one of the leading local broadcasters and might be expanding themselves in the market. So for those of you who are listening, Spring TV is something that you want to keep an eye on. They've got a Facebook page. Like them, follow them. So our show comes on Thursdays. Now, the idea behind it was there's a lot of voids, and it will bleed into a lot of the conversation that we're having here, and a lot in part to why I've sort of found myself in this particular space. It's because there's a huge void in terms of local football and tracking and information and analysis and transparency. And this is something that sort of like we're trying to bring attention to certain things so that we can help bring attention to the infrastructure that surrounds it to sort of get it in. I love the story that Maria Banda shared about how she got into football itself. Dennis Liwewe was a huge influence for me as well. So that story resonates very strongly. We would turn down the volume on the TV all the time. Sometimes even just switch off the TV, even though the game was live, because of the disconnect. Sometimes the radio would get here quicker, and just listen to the man's passion. And I remember enjoying, and that's how I became a fan of Zambian football. I also was scarred when we lost our team to the Gabon air disaster. They passed right by our yard. I remember the heartbreak in the nation. It was just devastating, but it definitely left its mark on me.
That was a disaster.
Yeah.
That was
and so since then, So since then, I became passionate about football. I expanded my interests and I started watching a lot of European football. That's where I discovered how passionate I was about the sport. I was very vocal, but in more private circles until another incident that put me into Zambian football was when finally I got a chance to meet James Peary, the late James Peary. May so rest in peace. So mother used to work at the time at Zanaco, and at the time, the Zambian Super League wasn't as fully mature as it is today. So It was run more like an extra to the company. It was social, so they had free tickets. They were encouraging people to get,
activity or
yeah.
stuff
So they were
like that.
encouraging people to get involved. So you could walk into Sunset Stadium for free and see them play, and there were so many things. So I met him in the elevator once, and he invited me to come and watch the games. And I watched 1 or 2 games, and I became a passionate fan of Zanaco for a while. But game time, the league wasn't regular. You couldn't catch games all the time. So it kind of faded until recently I met a few of my analyst friends and we were talking about football. And the more we started to talk, the more I realized there's a big issue here. So I started to go live and sort of share comments, give updates, give news feeds just on my private page. And,
on your private page,
I was
Facebook
keeping
page?
track. Yes, exactly. And friends started to come on, and so it started to accumulate. And then Patson Daka's transfer happened, and no one was covering it sufficiently. So I started to provide updates for a few local news houses, and one of the local news houses that had picked me up was Sprint TV.
Kasi, let me stop you right there. When you talk about the local new guys not being covered adequately,
right?
Did we even when Noah went to Thailand? Was that news? Was that not?
No, it wasn't.
Well, you see,
actually, to be fair, the collection of how many international football players Zambia currently boasts right now would shock people. We literally have a boy playing for Manchester City right now, and he's, I think, being set up as prime to sort of graduate from the reserves into the main team.
Oh, wow.
But we have such poor coverage statistically, yes.
That's a serious issue right there. Before we engage Noah here, who played for the winning team of 2012, based in Thailand, Maria, where does the gap, why the gap?
Well, I think the media also has a part to play. Remember, the mandate for the media is to inform, educate, and entertain. So the question is, if a player, for example, of a caliber of Noah, who, let's say, is different from the young boys that we know playing in the UK. We have a lot of Zambian boys playing in the UK. Noah has lived in Zambia, came from Zambia to go to South Africa, to go everywhere he's gone. How did the Zambian people miss it? I know there are Zambian colleagues who are in touch with Noah. How hasn't this happened? So I think the media also has a gap. Even everything else we're going to discuss now, there's a lot that the media could have done better, I think, which they didn't do. But also maybe this is why all the football teams need to realize there's need to have communication departments in their team. I see this lack even in our own team. The big teams in Zambia, they do very little to publicize what they're doing, because that's where the interest starts. When you have an under 12 team or an under 14 or an under 16, and you give information to people, when they are knowledgeable, then they will choose to follow you, or they will choose to be interested in what you do.
Interesting. All right. Okay. We are, our two people were supposed to join the discussion, Kasuluva and Noah, seem to be having technical challenges. Kasuluva, good afternoon. Welcome.
Good morning, Uncle Nathan. Morning, Uncle Roger.
Please tell what's his name, Noah, to try to use his phone. It looks like his computer is not working and everything else. And we try not to discuss these things on a live broadcast. Our discussion today is 10 years ago, the Zambia national team won the Africa Cup of Nations. Where are we as a nation? Kasi.
Right. I love the topic, by the way.
Oh, you should. You should. Since we won the 2012, have we even ever qualified again?
So we've qualified. So immediately after we won it, we qualified for the immediate next one and got knocked out, I think, in the group stages, I believe. And ever since that, it's been terribly inconsistent. We've been struggling to actually put in a sensible run. I think we qualified, I think, maybe once or twice after that. But for the last 3 concurrent times, we've been unable to sort of break into qualification for the Africa Cup of Nations. So the record has been very terrible, absolutely very terrible from a qualification perspective. And even just on an international front, I think the only place where we've sort of had any kind of threat is in Southern Africa. And even there, we're starting to get upstaged by the likes of the Zimbabweans and the Malawis.
Yeah,
So it's a painful one to see.
They were there.
Yeah, it's a painful one to see.
That they were there.
Definitely true.
Sorry,
so for me,
yeah, go ahead, Maria.
Just to cut in, I remember very well. So we won the African Cup of Nations in 2012, and in 2013,
right,
our deciding game was against Uganda. I remember very well. I was in Uganda itself in Kambola Stadium. Uganda had Dennis Onyango had to miss a penalty for us to qualify. We were almost at the verge of making history of being a defending champion, failing to qualify. That was 2013. So we qualified, we sneaked through and only managed to play the group stage. 2015 came, we qualified, but only again in the first round, the group stage, we were out. And then the West that we know, 2017, 2019, 2021, we haven't made it.
Oh, wow. All right, let's welcome Noah Chavuta here. He played, I believe, midfield. Noah, hi, good evening.
Good evening, and how are you?
Doing okay. You are in Thailand, right?
Yes, I am there.
How long have you been there? What club are you playing for?
I've been here now, I think this is my 7th year.
How are things going? Which club do you play for? No, are you there?
There are issues in Thailand, the internet. I thought they were a little bit advanced.
Oh my goodness. You see,
it might be raining.
It might be raining, eh? You remember when we were kids, Maria, when it rains, the phone is you remember that? We really wanted to hear the behind the scenes and what was going on in the team. He played for everybody watching and listening. Noah is based in Thailand. He plays for 7 years. He's been there for 7 years. Wow.
Quite a long time.
Kasuluba, good afternoon. And we've already begun the discussion here. Your cousin in Thailand is having issues.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Let's do what we can do. But Noah is a very big component of this thing. Maria, what are our problems? What is the challenge? So what happened to most of the team, the players in that team of 2012?
Look here, the problems are a lot, and you can't exhaust them. So remember, football for me, when you ask me, is 3 things.
Okay.
There is the management. There is the execution. The execution is the playing football itself, whether it's league, whether it's tournaments, whatever it is. And then above that, there's what I can call the philosophy or the mindset of the players behind football. So I think all these 3 things, these issues. So let's talk about management.
Okay.
What has happened? Has the Football Association of Zambia, and then when I say the Football Association of Zambia, please, I'm not saying Andrew Kamanga, I'm saying the Football Association of Zambia. What is it that they have done to manage football in this country? Is there a deliberate plan, a deliberate policy to say football will be run like this, where we will tap talent from academies, or we will tap talent from under 14, under 15, under 17 teams, and when we tap this talent, it will go to this stage and move to that stage. I think that hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. If I take you back to the team that won the 2012 African Cup of Nations,
Yes.
most of them either played together in the under 20 or the All Africa Games at under 23. So if you look at Chris Katongo, Collins Mbesuma, they had played together in the All Africa Games under 23. And the larger chunk, Chisamba Lungu, Emmanuel Mayuka, Sebastian didn't play, Kalaba, Chisamba Lungu, they played together at the under 20 World Cup in 2002.
Yes.
2002 to 2012, 10 years, they were still playing together. What that meant is that they gelled, they understood each other. You know, because I followed them, even in the pitch, when they are training, you can see that player gels a lot with that. Chisamba can push the ball with his leg backwards. You will notice that another colleague would know that this is how the ball will go. But I think after 2012, we have seen a lot of players come to the national team. Good players, though, again, I should say, very good players. But again, for example, last week I was having a chat with Dr. Kabungo, who was a team doctor then in 2012. And he says, Maria, we were all with one mindset. And our mindset that we came to Gabon to win. Whether we were minnows or not, we all agreed to say, guys, every game we play will take us to the next game. I have seen players today, they wear the national team jersey. It's as though they are playing in an academy. Again, that now comes to the execution part. Some players don't realize to be given an opportunity to wear a jersey for your country is a huge thing. Yes. For yourself, but for the country as well. So if they pick me, I need to prove to the world, not only Zambia, to the whole world, that look here, this is my caliber. This is how good I am. But then you're given a chance, you can't even chop the ball, you can't control the ball. Surely it's very disappointing. It's very disappointing. So to me, this is why I say it's a lot of things. It's not only one. But I think management, our execution, but overall our mindset. Our mindset, we are a laissez-faire people who's very laid back. I think we too much say God will do it and we do nothing ourselves. I think in conclusion,
talk about God. Don't even start the God thing, Maria. Don't even start. Cassandra, Miss Maria has talked about the aspect of academies, under 17, under 23. What is the state of those categories in the nation?
I love that question. Because you see, it highlights a big issue that we have currently from an administrative perspective. Kamanga has made his rise to the top. By the way, I must warn the panelists. Part of my objective is to sort of bring a lot of justice towards this particular issue, because that's the only way you can put pressure. And that's the only way you can get transparency. That's the only way you can get action points out of the people that need to answer the questions, is to press things, is to put people to book. A lot of what Kamanga has been riding on over the last years, since 2016 when he got elected, is he wants to disseminate the power. He said it was too concentrated at the top, and he said everybody else at the bottom needs a chance. So he was talking about grassroots football. He was talking about empowering referees. He was talking about investing in the league and all these different kinds of things. And I love what Maria points out. There has been no translation when it comes to output. And so we are seeing a lot of statements, we're seeing a lot of projects, we're seeing a lot of activities, but the quality of that is bad. Part of the reason why, even like she was saying, people are given an opportunity to play in the national team, but they can't even trap the ball, is because they are coming from a place where there is a gap between the resources that are required. And it's easy to look at it from the outside and say, you should have this capacity. But these guys are coming from places where they are playing at an open stadium, and the stand is sticks. Their coach hasn't had any official training, so he doesn't understand tactics the way international coaches and international games require. The only form of defense they know is man-to-man. They don't understand zones, positionings, moving, and different kinds of things. And so they need to be included, but they are given a chance, and it's too big a jump, it's too big an ask Then you talk about the politics involved inside of player selection. There's too many complications. And for me, I like where she's pointing. For me, 99% of the problem is administrative. Because even if player mentality is an issue, that's something that should be remedied by administration. Even if you're talking about performances, that's what the coach's job is, to get inside of the mentality of the players, to motivate them, to get them recalibrated and to push forward. That's the whole point of the job. And so for me, that's been the biggest place where we're lacking a lot of energy. And I think that's where a lot of questions need to be asked.
Noah, thanks for joining us.
Yes, problem with the internet now. I think I'm okay now.
Okay, that's good. Very good.
Yeah.
Good to see you. 7 years in Thailand.
Good to
How
see
has
you,
it been?
Nice to see you, everyone. It has been okay. I've adjusted, and it's a second home from home, but everything is okay. We're still pushing. Yeah.
You speak the language?
And scoring some phenomenal goals.
Yes. No, yes, at least I can order food in the restaurant.
I like that. So Noah, although we shall still try to do this, and the team that you were part of, you guys, you won the 2012 AFCON. How long were you together? How long did you play together? How long was that team together? The players, the coaches, the administrative staff. Let's just look at the whole thing. How long were you together?
That team, it started, I think, around after the AFCON 2006. Then some players, like, they changed. Then 2008, that's where now the core of the team started. That's where the results now showed only in 2010. The progressiveness started showing in 2010. And the major one now in 2012. And if you look at the players who were used from 2008 to 2013, there were only a pool of maybe 50 players maximum. We are selecting from those 50, maybe even more, maybe around less than that, maybe around 35 or so. We were rotating only the same players like that. So we knew each other, we know who's not there, who comes in. Just a few inclusion, like younger players like Mbola came in, Chisamba came in, like that. But the core, and Evans Kangwas, but the core of the team still remained like that. But now if you see from 2013, 2014 up to now, you're talking about a pool of maybe over 100 players.
Wow. And sorry, and just to add on, to what Noah is saying, an interesting statistic you would be interested in is we've had, since 2010 to current, we've had close to 11 coaches for the national team. And some of those coaches have had repeat sessions, just to emphasize and echo the point that is driving that post-2013, the pool of players has just ballooned high. Not only has the players ballooned high, but even our coaching, I think we've gone through 13 selections since 2010. Wow. Imagine that.
So now, Cassandra, you're blasting things here. And no, let me go back to Noah. I'm failing to speak now. After I ask this, Kasuluba, you can come in. So 35 to 50 players. What make the people, our listeners, people watching, what is the significance of that from a player's point of view? When you have a limited number of pool where the players are selected compared to a broader, tell us the significance of that as a player.
Okay, I'll just take you, before we go to the national team, I'll take you to the club level.
Okay.
If a coach is given a squad of 50 players, the coach will say, these are too much players to work with. He would want a number below 30 so that he concentrates on those players. He can work on them individually and collectively. But if the number is so like the way we were, the coach, it was easier for a coach to work. There was continuity and there was a consistency in the players as well. If the form goes down, everyone will say, oh, the form is, we lift him up and whatever. But if you keep on changing, if one doesn't perform well in one game, you drop him and bring another person. A different person who has never been in a setup. So you're not progressing going forward, but you are starting again, starting from the basics. Oh, we want a player to play like this, but everyone in our pool, we knew what was required by the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And from that 2010, from 2009, if I'm not mistaken, when Renard took over, until 2013, we had only, I think, 2 coaches, and Bonetti came in and went, and then Renard came back again. So at least there was a continuity. And when Bonetti came in, he never changed a lot. He continued with the same pool. So in football, there is that consistency and continuity of players as well.
But Maria, what is the significance of this? You hit this point really hard. What is the significance of this? I know somebody watching might say, Nathan, the answer is simple. No. I want you to hit on this. What is the significance of that point Noah's made?
I think like Noah says, so just to remind Noah also, I think Noah, you played also in the All Africa Games under 23.
Yes,
and then much of the other guys also played, like I said, in the Canada 2002 World Cup.
Yeah, the World Cup.
So the significance is that the players know each other. Like very important point that Noah brought up. When you understand when your friend's spirit is down, you know, sometimes we are people, we wake up, you're feeling low, you're feeling down, but your friends, because you've been together for a long time, they know you, they know what to do. But also, even the coach understands you. Even the coach understands you. And then, you know, when you know each other, you're not jealous of each other. You become brothers. I have seen, there are times, Noah, you guys were in the dressing room. I'll be behind, just listening to the vibe, looking at the players, just the energy. Before I put in the commentary box, I would tell the guys to say, guys, this game we're winning, or this game we're going to lose. Because you understand each other.
Yes.
Trust me, it has nothing to do with the big names. It has everything to do with understanding each other and gelling with each other. Also, when a new person comes, because you don't know them, you're feeling as any Dianambao. So you're not friends with them. They are your enemy. But when you understand to say, Noah is actually my backup, you gel. I mean, it'll be okay. But also remember, even the technical bench, they understand you.
Yes.
But now, if you're going to be changing play, look here, the qualifiers we've done 2017 to 2021, we were changing the team every game we played.
Wow.
Yes. Every game we played. And then you sit down and say, do we know what we're doing? We seem not to know. And unfortunately, this is a time that Zambia has some of the best players in the world, not just Africa, but in the world. Yeah. How can we be failing to qualify? How can we be failing to qualify? But now, what is management doing about it? I have a lot of questions to management also. Now, not to bombard them too much. We know also there's countries which has failed. Egypt. Now, we were winning the African Cup of Nations in 2012. Egypt had failed to qualify in 20. Look, they won in 2010. Failed to qualify in 2012, failed to qualify in 2013, failed to qualify in 2015. They came back in 2017, went through to the finals. They were runners up. They lost to Cameroon 2-1.
Yeah. Yes.
You want to ask, what happened? Can we learn something from them? Ghana, it happened to Ghana as well. 86, 88, 90, they failed. 1992, they came back through to the finals. They lost to Ivory Coast in personal penalties, 11-10. Can we learn something from that? It's a question to management of football in Zambia.
Yeah, it's true. Kasuluba, before you come in, everybody, let's take a break here and we'll come back to the discussion.
Do you want to promote your business on Zambia Broad Talk Radio? Yes, that's right. Live on Zambia Broad Talk Radio. To boost your spot, just make a donation by picking from the following categories. To get started, just call or WhatsApp the number on the screen and you'll be good to go. Live on Zambia Broad Talk Radio every Saturday for 1 full month. And it will stay on the recorded shows.
Thank you for joining us. Our guests are Noah Chavuta. He was part of the 2012 winning team of the Zambia national team. Kasanda Mwape is co-host of Off the Bench, a talk show on sports, I believe. And also the legendary Miss Maria Banda, soccer commentator for many years, and the journalist Kasulva. You can take it up.
So I have two questions, but first, I would like to take Maria as well as Noah back a bit. So many issues have been raised as to why we're struggling as a nation, but could it also be right to say we may have felt as though we had arrived as a nation after winning 2012? It was like an achievement, and there was nothing to look forward to after that because there was complacency. In as much as we might say, which is correct to say, players, there was a change in this and that, but then after 2012, there wasn't much change to the team that went and got booted out in the group stages. So could it be that the nation felt as though, okay, we have arrived, and then there was no plan B afterwards?
Maria, you start. Okay. With regarding to that, maybe I go first. I was there in 2013. You know, like what Maria was saying. Sometimes when you win a cup, like she was saying, Egypt didn't go after they won, right, Maria? So those things in football, they do happen. Where like you are champions, and when we went to 2013, we were a team to beat. Everyone was now like really going there, and they are really fully aware, fully equipped, like analyze the things they never did in 2012. You know, so now going there, things were tough. We never lost a game. We drew all the 3 games and we're out. But from there now, that's where we were supposed to, the continuation now will be if the transition of the players, of the management and whatever, now things started just going down. We lost track. We never had a plan B after winning. Maybe going to winning the 2012, it was not expected. You see, now, so we didn't know what to plan now after that. It became difficult. Even now, we are still planning. Even now, we are still rebuilding. That's 10 years later.
Where do you think, sorry to jump in, Kasuba, where do you think where did you lose track? Where was the track lost? If I don't know if that's even proper English. Where did we lose track? Noah, in your view?
We lost track in the transition in football is something we call a transition from winning to adjust now and fusing in now the new players to be coming in. Because the transition we made, we thought like wiping out all the players, 3/4 of the players who won, they say now they are aging and whatever, and we took them at once.
Oh wow!
Then we started bringing new ones. Oh no, these were new ones, and there was too much politics now regarding that. The people would say, no, we want this one to play this one, and it kept on going until even up to now. Now people will call this one, and it's like we lost track. We lost the grip of a team. The management, the coaching staff, they lost the grip of a team.
Yeah, I like how Noah is saying it. So we'll spare Noah from going out rightly and declaring it. Me, I'm calling out the football administration of Zambia because there are a lot of issues. So just to share, on the show, we have hosted the spokesperson for FAS, and we have spoken to them. And one of the issues that is probably now public knowledge is there's a lot of inconsistency behind the scenes that people don't realize affects the team. For example, after we won the 2012 Cup, and I'm sure it is a topic that we're going into, FAS was not very transparent or very fair in how payments were handed out after that. The salary cap at the time for coaches, just to speak on administration, was $10,000 at that particular time. Bernard was offered a much bigger position, I think, that's when he went to Sochaux. But his first option, his passion was to see whether progress can be made locally. And there was no movement or concession there. You will be surprised to note that the same fee that's been allocated to the coach is still the same amount that we are paying today, 2022. It's been 10 years, we're still offering the same salary, the same, which is $10,000. So whoever now was offered 60,000 to move forward. Now people might be thinking, "Oh, this is a lot of money, different kinds of things." But football has changed, and neither is FAS static. And there's a lot of a lack of transparency when it comes to finances. And I can give you easy examples. For example, FAS, the salary that we're talking about, that 10,000, doesn't come from FAS. That comes from the government. So the government is the one that pays the coach's salary. FAS is on the receiving list of the donation list that FIFA gives FAs. The contribution to Africans is approximately 5 million. Now, I need to verify whether that's given annually or monthly. I suspect it's annually. But FAS has an access to close to 5 million United States dollars. This new signing that saw the booming of the Zambian Super League with MTN, with SuperSport, and all these TV rights, also additionally brought in close to the same amount of 5 million. And these are monies that are managed directly by FAS. So already for me, a lot of red flags go up. So I know Noah for whatever reasons is very polite about it. Me, I'm calling things as they are because answers need to be given. That transition was very dubious. You just won the championship. Someone should be doing some analysis. At the very least, you should be saying, okay, fine, we may not have had a plan, but what's the next phase in terms of maintaining the coach? Because simple logic should tell you, if this coach got us this far, let's try and maintain him. If the issue is finances, how do we overcome that? That's not done. Transition-wise, we have a pool of experienced players. How do we phase this based on, experience so that we're not losing anything? Okay, fine, you want to wipe out everyone at a go. What about maintaining the technical stuff? It's like they just closed their eyes, allowed everybody to leave, and they started from scratch. No one does that. Like, from even just basic organization skills tells you that is the most dangerous thing you can do to your organization. And for me, the emphasis really has to be asked questions about that particular transition, both from a player perspective, but also administratively. What's happening in terms of how we transition these things? Where are our priorities?
I think, let me come in also. Like, I'll keep on saying it's a lot of things. I think let's not put the blame on FAS alone. What is the media doing? What is the media doing? We know these players. We talk to these players off pitch. Now, look at what we did. We win the African Cup of Nations 2012. We tried to maintain the team a little bit in 2013. And now the galore of changing players begins. Now, not only at senior team, the under 20 win the African Cup of Nations. They qualify.
Yes, 2017.
They almost do wonders for us. You change the whole team. Where are our priorities? Now, then I come back to the philosophy. And now the philosophy I'm referring to, you can call it, if you want, the national curriculum of football in Zambia. What is our curriculum? Because if we have a curriculum, we will know if Noah has played with the national team for 10 years, what do we do with him? If Renford Calabar has played for the national team for 20 years, what do we do with him? At what stage do we start to transition him out? You can't cut. Guys, even when I'm cooking shima, I just don't stop. There's a process for me to cook shima. There's a process for me to have a meal. We have to understand, what do we need to do? And I think I understand the management part, but the media also has a huge part to play. The media, we know that the players were cut off. What did we report? We need to give data of what has happened after everybody's cut off the national team. We need to give data to say, look here, you've cut off Renford Calabar. This is what he's doing at TP. We need to tell them, look, you cut off Noah Chivuta, but it's 10 years later, Noah is still a professional football player. We cut off James Chamanga.
And scoring wonder goals, by the way.
Top scorers in your league. Come on, guys. So our national curriculum as a country for football.
Yeah.
We won 1.5
Maria,
million.
Sorry to cut you. I think you've made a lot of good points, which we should add on very quickly. Then I'll disappear again. You said the first question you asked before our viewers forget is, what is our curriculum? That is a question I think you asked, which in my view is huge. Our curriculum has zero support, so to say, from government. Nathan and I, growing up in the Copper Belt, our primary school games were games to watch. We had big guys who came from the primary school, secondary school, who went to make which is that team which used to beat Mufria Wanderers all the time. Canary Devils, my team. I just wanted to say that. I had to say that. Anyway, so all these yes. So all these things, yes, all these things, and if you remember back in the again in the day when you listened to the commentary, Dennis Iwewe, KK11, he was talking about the national team. The mood of the nation was that of celebrating of the nation. Sorry to bring in politics, guys. With the coming of corrupt politics of the PF, tribal politics of the country, we got divided. I see Mwepo there, I see a fellow Kaonde, instead of seeing a national player to celebrate. This one, Gongwe, Wakuchipata. That is how we became. Now, politics has a lot to do with sport in the country. The mood of the nation goes in the stadium. She said, Nathan, if you remember, what are you wearing at the back of your jersey? You are wearing Zambia. We were living in a country which was morally corrupt. Division was rampant. I don't think you can make it. My challenge to you, sports commentators, with the coming of we did here on this radio CDF, we called it CDF Sport. Guys, follow that CDF. Let's put some of that money in the CDF into primary school sport. Let's push some of that money into secondary school sport. We will talk all we want, but if our foundation is zero, curriculum, Miss Maria, you talked about is zero. Next year you'll be back here. Sorry to say, whining again. We'll be whining. That's my contribution. I'm listening.
Great points, Uncle Roger. There, I'd like to take us back to the points that I think Cassandra brought up, which are also cardinal. He talked about monies and things like that and all that. But then besides that, would we also be correct to say we failed to move on after Rena? Why am I saying so? Noah made mention to say Rena had come in 2009. Of course, there was a point that he left, but then he still came back and he's the one who won the 2012 AFCON. So could we say that, first of all, as a nation, Zambia failed to move on from Rena? And after that, there has been a big problem of not giving coaches time as much as Rena was given.
Yeah, and that's why I was pointing out the financial issues, because the big thing again that you find inside of that is FAS themselves. Literally, we had an interview. The spokesperson said it was difficult to find a coach because no one was ready to accept $10,000 as a base salary, because literally everybody else is paying double, triple. I mean, you can't in today's day and age offer that. So what would happen was they would start as an opening or negotiating salary, and it would either collapse or they couldn't attract quality coaches. when they said that they would try local coaches, their argument has been that apparently our local coaches don't have international qualifications for coaching. So there's CAF A, CAF B, UEFA A, UEFA B. At current, no one seems to be getting these particular qualifications, and there's a very, very, very limited pool to choose from. So from Faz's perspective, the excuse has been we don't have access to qualified people. For me, my personal issue is to back up what you're saying is like, I think it's embarrassing that an entire FA can't raise enough money to pay a coach. It doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. We have literally one of the biggest, most watched leagues in Africa. It's significant enough that SuperSport was prepared to sign TV rights for us. That means there's enough equity in it that people want to watch it. There's enough revenue generation that you can get from it. So if we can generate revenue from the league, the fact that then we are struggling to raise enough money to sort of at least complement what we're getting from government support to get a decent coach in and give him a long enough tenure to sort of build a team, for me starts to raise a lot of flags for progression. But yeah, just to help you on that question where you're saying after Renard we struggled, it's very true. And the excuse has been we can't afford the coaches. They come, they see the pay, they try it for once and then they're out. They try it for a year and then they're out. That same 10,000 delays or something is not issued. It's this, it's that, and they're done. They pack their bags.
Sorry, Kasanda, that's just to chip in. The way the previous gentleman, the way he was saying, like we have to invest, like in schools, the CDFs and whatever. As much as also as we like the players who won the 2012, there are very few players who came with a background of these fancy academies now we are having. We got developed this local way of developing players, but we got away with it. There are some of the things like some basics of football, how to control, some of them I knew them by myself. Some of them I started learning them when I went now to South Africa to play football. I said, oh, these things, so they can be taught. Because football is like, yes, it's talent, but it can be taught. At the age, it's like somebody swimming. There's no one who was born like just a swimmer.
I'm a good swimmer, yes.
You put a person in water and start learning basics it's the same as football. But now on a grassroots level, we don't have developmental coaches who develop those players. That's why most of the players, when they go out, they come back quickly because of the basics they are lacking. They can perform well in Zambian league because the standard is low. The player, you find the same players, same caliber of the players who are there. But once it goes where the teams are advanced, they will say, no, this person is lacking. And you can never catch up.
In many areas.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Now, just also to chip in on the question, we've struggled. It's an artificial struggle. It's an artificial struggle. To say we are lacking of coaches in Zambia is not true. I would argue with you the whole day. We have coaches up to the level of CAF B in this country.
Their excuses, we've tried them and they failed. That's what we were told.
They need to give them a chance.
We had Wetson Urenda. We have Chicken George. I'm giving you Zambia's best coaches who've gone in other leagues and they've performed. The day we will stop politicizing football in this country, maybe we'll get it right. We have the coaches, and FAS have to begin to look at football as a business. There's a lot of money in football, my dear. There's a lot of money. And if you want to make more money, it's a business, isn't it? You have to invest money.
Yeah, it is.
So 2012, we got $1.5 million from CAF. $1.5 million in CAF as winners of the African Cup of Nations. And we can't pay these guys? I remember government gave you guys, I think, 300 million, or is it $59,000?
Maria.
In the papers.
Maria,
probably in the papers.
Francis is saying they should give the $10,000 to local coaches. How much are the local coaches paid?
They should be paid the same as everybody else.
That's a big mystery. That's a huge mystery.
So we don't know how much the local coaches are paid.
What we know is what we know is government gives the money to FAS for the payment of the coach. That's what officially we know. What happens after that is FAS needs to give us a record. They need to show us what's happening. Because this is a lot of the issue that you find
we'll talk about
surrounding these particular issues.
Yeah,
we need to wind up here. No,
I think seeing that we want to wind up. Quick question. Obviously burning in a lot of people. Noah, why wait for 10 years in order for the players to come out as regards the unfulfilled pledges?
Yeah, you know what? Our team, like discipline came first. There's somebody, when this thing started, somebody was telling me like you would have boycotted even when you went to the semi-finals, that the money is not coming in. You say this is what we want. If we shifted that focus about money, I don't think we were going to reach whatever we achieved. You see, then waiting for 10 years, you know, after the players, we didn't come out from the national team at the same time. So if like there were still players who were still active in the national team, and if he speaks about this, definitely he was going to be out. So we kept it, and we thought like this anniversary is the first time it has happened in our country. So we thought like there's something maybe which will be done, honoring us with anything, not particularly money, just like whatever they can do
to commemorate the achievement. Yeah,
yes, like you have done this, but the day has just passed.
So all those clothes, all the keto, all those things that were promised and things like that, of which we celebrated, never came.
There's nothing, my brother. The only thing we got is just the normal
allowances.
Normal allowances. Normal. Yeah. So if you that time, there's nothing to hide. Like the way they hide the salaries for the coaches, like you, Kasada said. We got the games were not the same. It went to, if I'm not mistaken, about $59 US for the whole tournament, for the whole allowances. We stayed in camp over 2 months.
Right.
So we were in camp. So a day there was a daily allowance, and it mounted to that. So that's why in the papers, I think the dollar by then it was 50 or 5 kwacha or what. I'm not too sure by then. So it mounted to about 300 years. So that's the only amount which was given. Wow. But now what was hurting now is to see the report where it says like, okay, on top of that 300, there was another amount which was given. And that there was also the other part of the pledges. It went also close to $1 million as well.
Houses, I remember houses were promised.
But there's nothing which has been fulfilled. So it was not a matter of like really, you know how it is, like Maria was saying about politics. Like if somebody is still in the team and spoke about this thing, I don't think
the consequences.
For sure.
The consequences.
Let's wind up. We have like 2 minutes remaining here. Quick question to each one of you. I'd like you to respond to this question. Noah, I'll start with you probably, and we'll end with Miss Maria. What would you like to see changed?
Just the approach, the football, the management, the ones who are in forefront. They just have to, you know, there's nothing wrong by learning from other countries the way they are doing things.
Right.
Let's swallow our pride. If we put somebody in charge, if you put a local coach in charge, let's support him for a longer period. Let's see what that person will bring in. Sorry, maybe just to take your time, I'll just tell you like we have a coach. The coach will come in with his own assistant coaches, video analysis, and things like that. When that coach leaves, he leaves with everything, and then the nation will remain at zero. Let's say a video analyst guy. If FAS can employ somebody who takes videos, who do the analyzing other teams, all that data will remain with the FA, even if the coach leaves. But we don't have that. So every coach who comes in, he comes in with his own people. When they leave with everything. And then we start all over with a new guy again.
So there's no consistency in that area,
No,
like
no.
Miss Maria is saying. 20 seconds, Cassandra. Response to the same
Yes.
question.
I love it, and I like what Noah is saying, because I think that's where the issue is. I've been tracing this story for Zambia's success, and for me, the numbers, everything points to management. The issue is management. Number one needs to get more transparent. Number two needs to become a lot more accountable. There's a lot of things that are down to them. The players are there. The talent is there. People talk sometimes a lot about bad mentality in the players. And to some degree, yes, you need players to motivate. But all that is managed by coaches, which are selected by management. Management needs to care a lot more about the football that's being played. And that's why, for me, I place a lot of weight on them. Going forward, I would like to see a bit more of a proactive response. I'd like to see a lot more adjustment. I'd like to see them sort of change their ways, and at least even just at the bare minimum, start to listen a lot more so that they can improve the way their structures are. Because the interesting thing is the nation is prepared to come in and support. The nation is prepared to do things that, if they can open up, would surprise them in terms of how much support, even financial support. You'd be very surprised how willing and hungry the nation is to sort of jump in and participate. So going forward, I want to see that, because like we said earlier, we probably have right now the richest pool of players I've ever seen for a long time. We have the setup that was similar for success for 2012, the 2017 team, good crop of guys, but we need to keep them together, and we need to have listening and management.
Miss Maria, 20 seconds.
Football is a business, so it has to start to be run as such. If you know what a business is, run football as a business, then you begin to respect players. This is a career. You cannot have somebody's contract finish or they retire and you think you shouldn't pay them. Respect the players, and then maybe their mindset will change. They'll begin to look at football as a career, just like an accountant is in accounts as a career. Maybe things will change. I think when I said business is very wide. Please, football is a business, and politics have to stop. Zambian football is not Kamanga and Kalusha. Please. Zambian football is not Kamanga and Kalusha.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that. I am so glad.
Thank you.
And I think the debate of Kamanga and Kalusha has to stop.
Yes, it's useless, yes.
Everybody, that was our show today, 10 years after Zambia's win in AFCON. Miss Maria, thank you so much. This is not the first and last. Cassandra, oh my goodness, good to have you here. My, what do you call it, Maria, my page boy on my wedding. And
not nice boy.
Yeah, I know. Noah, thank you so much, my co-host Kasulwa. Everybody, we are switching over to Open Forum. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Zambia Blog Talk Radio.